FAA administrator is not something that one aspires to. It's very gratifying, and I have really enjoyed getting to know the people at the agency and trying to make a difference. And it really is an opportunity, again, to come full circle, really, to give back to my country. I had been the Senior Vice President of Flight Operations at Delta for about 12 years, and ultimately I needed to make sure that the next generation of leaders were going to be able to continue to matriculate and advance through the organization. So my retirement afforded them an opportunity to do that. Separately, I had been approached by Secretary Chow about whether I was interested in leading the FAA, and over a period of many months had several conversations with her and the White House and others about my level of interest. You know, the current political environment in Washington is difficult sometimes coming out of the private sector, but I also think it's important that the government has the perspective of those who have the operational experience, the leadership background that for me started leading into the academy, and with my military experience and civil aviation experience, that I'm able to bring that forward for the benefit of the FAA and for our country. I think there are great people here. About 35% of the FAA's employees are veterans or otherwise affiliated with the military through their Guard and Reserve service. And so the culture here is very service-oriented and very focused on core values. In many ways, this is the most exciting time in aviation that we've ever had in decades and maybe in our country's history. Things like unmanned aviation systems, drones, didn't even exist 15 years ago. I didn't realize how involved the FAA is in commercial space operations. 10 years ago, we might have had 3 or 4 commercial space launches that were certified by the FAA and licensed. This year we'll have about 32, 33. We've got 11 licensed commercial spaceports around the country. We're talking about civil supersonic flight, which hasn't been on the agenda for decades. So a lot of opportunity to do a lot of great things. As with any large operational organization, you can set your priorities, and it's very important that you have a strategy and a vision, but you don't always get to choose what you work on. And right now, we have some issues around aviation safety with Boeing and the 737 MAX that are the primary focus. But we've got to keep running a great air traffic control system. We've got to make sure our airports are supported. We've got to keep moving along with rulemaking and supporting the integration of drones into the airspace and the commercial space activities. So we'll be flying the 737 MAX, and don't know exactly when that's going to be. Boeing will be doing some other certification work prior to that, and we'll be having a number of pilots coming in and looking at the training programs and how that will integrate into the recertification of the flight control system. But I will be flying the airplane. I only know one way to lead, and that's by example. So if I wouldn't fly the airplane myself or put my own family on it, then I'm not going to sign on the dotted line. So I'm looking forward to that opportunity and continuing to see that return to service through to the end, regardless of how long it takes. And I'll never forget where I came from. But on the other hand, I've got to make the best decisions that I can for our country and for the overall aviation system. And the U.S. has the most diverse aviation system anywhere in the world. All of their interests have to be listened to and taken into account. So I think that the principles of servant leadership and trying to make well-informed decisions as a leader, things that I've learned in my time at the Academy and also during my career, have served me very well in this role so far, and I look forward to continuing to make a difference, hopefully.